Thank you all for joining on this last event. I'm not going to talk about me or the Legal Cannabis Coalition or Cannabisiness. You can all find that information on the website of the organization, I guess. I would like to use the time, I'm an advisor overall since 9 years in the cannabis world, focus on Europe. And I'm involved in several ways in the Dutch cannabis experiment, and I would like to use the time to explain a little bit to those who don't know how the recreational cannabis world in the Netherlands works. And even just an hour ago, I talked about our cannabis sector, and people were astonished about how it works. So not everybody knows it. In 1978, our government decided to, because the black market for cannabis was so increasing, so they decided to forbid it again in a law. So it's completely forbidden to produce alcohol, to sell cannabis, and but on a level of the municipality to allow coffee shops, that's the name, to have in store 500 grams of cannabis and to sell a maximum 5 gram cannabis to a customer a day. What happened then, but I'm talking about 45 years ago, is that if you look at 20 years ago, that there was an existence of 2,000 coffee shops in the Netherlands. Then, of course, the government thought like, well, this is not going the direction that we really want. And now we are back to 573 coffee shops. On the other hand, and I talked with some of you before yesterday or today, is that the consumers didn't go back. I mean, the consumers stayed the same. So the coffee shops who were left over, the 573, they just earn more money because they sell more cannabis instead of having 75% more competitors. If you look at the coffee shops, so it's strictly forbidden. There is no law for an existence of a coffee shop, but the government said this is a municipality thing. So the mayor of a municipality can give a license to a coffee shop, just how he is thinking that it's okay. And for that he needs a permittance from the people who are in the board of the municipality. So if you have a very Christian society, there is no coffee shop in that town. And if you have an open city like Amsterdam, you have 150 coffee shops. But there is no rule. There is no you cannot apply to open a coffee shop. Enough about that. If you look at the coffee shop, so a coffee shop can have 500 grams in stock, not more. 6 times a year, they get a visit from the government. And what the government does is they close the shop. They will look at the people, the consumers who are there, if they don't have a gun, if they don't have much more than 5 grams of cannabis, because that's the maximum which is allowed to have. They look if your papers are okay, and then you can leave the coffee shop, and then they're going to check the coffee shop if he has enough. If he has a maximum of 500 grams in store. But if you fail, they will give you a warning, and afterwards they will close your coffee shop for 2 weeks, and then you have to close your coffee shop forever if you keep on failing. The thing is, if you look at 500 grams in store, the average coffee shop at least sells 1 kilo a day. So that means he needs a backup, a storage every day to keep near material into the coffee shop. And yeah, that is the strange thing in the Netherlands, what nobody in other countries sometimes understand. The back door doesn't exist. So it is a complete mystery how the cannabis is coming in that store. It is still since 45 years already. And that mystery is, yeah, produced crime on a large scale. And that means that we have 2,000 illegal growing places. So sleeping rooms, basements, and of course some large scale growers, but most of them are very small. And yeah, every 2 months they try to harvest, and a part goes to the coffee shop, to that mystery back door. And what also is very hard to understand is that the owner of the coffee shop is not allowed to test his material because it's illegal. So if you test your material, you do something which belongs in a legal environment. So they don't test. Hopefully they know some of your customers who bring the cannabis to you, but you never know what is in it. And of course, what do? They're all clever, the growers. Sometimes the harvest is not as well. Well, then you paint it the right color, that it looks fresh, the right green or the right brown color. You use hairspray to give it more weight, so it sells better. But that is a little bit the funny thing, of course, or the not funny thing. Of course, there are a lot of coffee shops who really know, after all those decades, how to handle and treat their customers, their consumers. But the thing is, it is very hard for a government to divide the good ones and the bad ones. That is a little bit tricky. But it is something which the government created themselves. If you look now to the years ago, what they thought crime increased, and healthcare was also always an issue because you're not able to test your material. So they thought, like, let's start with an legalization. A lot of people from the Netherlands want legalization, so let's start with a trial, and that's what I'm going to tell about now. Well, what is the challenge? 10 cannabis growers will be involved in the long-term experiment in the next 4 years. In what stage are we now? Because we worked on this for years. It took really long time. 10 municipalities have been selected, and all the coffee shops in those 10 municipalities have to work and have to buy the cannabis from those 10 growers. And you can make up your own choice. If you do it with one grower or with all the 10 growers, that doesn't matter. It's a free market within that closed chain. The 10 growers are all selected. They went to a procedure, integrity procedure, and that all happened. Now the first grower finished his facility, I just heard from our government, and started growing. That means that he can start growing and gain some experience. But when 6 or 7 of the growers in the next few months or year are have been finishing their facility and can start delivering to the coffee shops, then they will push the button. The government has said, okay, now the coffee shops have 6 weeks to stop buying through that magic backdoor. And in that 6 weeks, they have to refresh it from the 10 licensed growers. So that will be a really interesting moment somewhere next year. I think there is the timeline is here, and now we are June. But next in a year. So in a year, the experiment really starts. So the delivery to the coffee shops. If you look to just some figures for the one who doesn't know it, the market. We talked a lot about the medical cannabis, of course, at this congress. If you look at the cannabis market, officially, so and that's how the government counts, a coffee shop does 1 kilogram a day with 573 coffee shops. In reality, there are coffee shops who are selling 4 kilo a day. It depends on the city or the area which they are covering. So it is like, because if you look at the coffee shops and the way they make their accounting, if the police comes or the government comes to check you, and they ask you, okay, show me your bills. Yeah, that is the bills where they are buying from the illegal growers. That's all cash. Yeah, there are no bills. It's a paper where he writes down, okay, how much is it? 500. Okay, that is what he's showing to the inspection. That is his accounting at the moment for 45 years already. So you have some possibilities to change or work with the figures. So that's why this is such. Yeah, you don't know. It's very difficult to know. Just sales price average is all average. Consumer price is €10, and the price where they buy it for is somewhere between €4 and €5 from the illegal growers at the moment. And 20% of the market is hash. Hash will be will be a difficulty in the experiment, because till now almost all the hash comes from Morocco, Lebanon, and surrounding countries. Due to Corona, it was a little bit more difficult to get. So we have in the Netherlands, we have a real hash problem at the moment. So we have no hash, we have no quality of hash, and the price is extremely high suddenly because of Corona. So it shows that we are not able to make it, because some other people did that for us. In the experiment, the coffee shop cannot go to the black market anymore. It's a closed chain, so it's impossible. So the 10 growers, or some of the 10 growers at least, have to focus on producing hash. And for the business model, it's not okay to do that, because you need a lot of cannabis to make 1 gram of hash. So whether the price of hash needs to be very high, because otherwise your business model is not working. Are there questions in between, because the group is not that big?
Are the coffee shops paying taxes?
Depends on what taxes. There is no tax because it's illegal. So there is no tax on the product, because the product doesn't exist. Sorry? Yeah. No VAT. That's what I mean. No VAT. Yeah.
But they might pay corporate income.
Yeah, income tax. But that's you can make your own registration.
Yeah.
I don't earn that much. No, that's silly to say that. But the VAT doesn't exist at the moment, and that's also a thing in the experiment. Because it's an experiment, it's a real law, so we have a real law for this experiment. But because it's an experiment, those 10 growers don't need to pay VAT. But for your investment in your facility, we're talking about average investment is between 20 and 30 million euro, whether you choose for a greenhouse or an indoor facility. Everything you buy, you have to pay VAT. That's here 21% in the Netherlands. So it's all kind of things which are really interesting for your business case. Somebody else? Here again, some figures about the experiment. 80 coffee shops, 10 growers, there the consumption. And if you looked at the estimated market for 1 year, is 65,000 kilogram for this experiment. But once again, counting with 1 kilogram a day, in the knowledge that there are coffee shops who do 4 kilogram a day. So it's something we will see where it will lead to. No, that's a good question. No, they allow you 1 week, 1 week business. So that's also something which will change. They will see how things will go. No. But that's but it's also another thing, because now they don't need a safe to have that much in storage. So that's also interesting for your safety of your coffee shop, to have a whole week. The grower. Yeah. It's also a good one, because now the coffee shop, they make their own pre-rolls, their own whatever, they do everything. Now they are like selling alcohol. The grower has to package it, etc. And the only thing the consumer does is, I want this. And okay, that's this, or this, and they cannot make their own combinations, their own varieties, etc. So their role is completely different. We had a discussion with some people of the government who are also here. Edibles are allowed, but you're not allowed to extract. So that is something which is an interesting thing. So, yeah, it is allowed, but yeah, I'm curious how to make an edible without extraction. You can try to put a flower into a gummy bear, but I don't think it works. So this is yeah. Yeah.
So there's a packaging format that's already decided on for the growers.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is mainly yeah, no advertisement, only information how to take care and not to smoke. That there is no easy answer on that. But if you're interested, I can send to the information to the organization some information and to put it on the site, some extra information about the experiment and like packaging. Yeah.
So the product will be unbranded in the coffee shop?
Sorry.
The product will be unbranded without.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, they don't want to make it attractive like they do now with cigarettes. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see how they can compete. Marketing, yeah, you need another type of marketing. You have to convince the coffee shops that your product will be outstanding or different or cheap or whatever, and the coffee shop has to tell that to the consumer. But it is not possible to give real information.
What happens to those 500 other coffee shops? They operate business as usual.
Yeah, yeah. In the law, it's written that after 2 years they will evaluate how it's going, and yeah, of course, everybody hopes that it will go okay. So it will expand, or we get a national legalization. But the investors, it's not interesting for the investors because they look. It can be 4 years and then it stops. That's possible. So that investment of 30 million for a good indoor facility, you need that till you start your first year. Yeah, you have to earn that back in 4 years.
Is it required by law to be a legal facility or?
No, that's all up to you. But I know that only 2 have a glass house, but next to an indoor facility. So all have an indoor facility, and 2 of them choose also to do extra and glass house. That is also because that's a little bit from, there are no, at the moment, the last 45 years, no illegal glass houses where they illegally grow cannabis, because you see it in the evening and you smell it. They all do it in the basement and the sleeping room, and that's all indoor. So we have a lot of experience in growing cannabis, but small scale and indoor. And yeah, that's what went wrong with some of the growers when they started in Canada years ago. They thought, we can grow tomatoes on large scale, etc. But they had no experience with cannabis. Oh, we take that guy, he does that already, 40 square meters for 20 years. And then he came in that huge glass house with all kind of equipment. Yeah, things went totally wrong, of course. So it's, and I think the average of the facilities is somewhere between the 5,000 and 10,000 square meter of really growing space. Yeah.
How are they making sure that these 80 coffee shops aren't getting their supply from illegal sources?
It will be a closed chain, so a real closed chain. There is no possibility to do another way. A blockchain technology. Yeah.
Every plant has to be marked and there's a track and trace system.
Yeah.
I work for the Dutch government.
Oh yeah.
Also, it's not possible. Or at least we think it's not possible. We'll see.
Yeah. That was also in my last thing we're still to solve. One thing what is also interesting to tell is that the main problem at the moment for the short term is the fact that no one of the 10 growers has a bank account. Because the 4 banks, we have 4 big banks in the Netherlands, and they don't like to do weapons, sex, drugs, tobacco, alcohol. I mean, yeah, and cannabis is one of them. So it's very. We had a very interesting presentation the day before yesterday at the Rabobank, one of the banks, who are the biggest facilitator anyway of the loans for the coffee shops, for the real estate. So that's a funny thing. But yeah, it's really that's the thing. I mean, of course, those 10 growers are all companies who work together, so they all have bank accounts. But there is no bank account which says cannabis grower X and on your card. That is still not possible. So they don't need money; they just need a bank account to buy the land where they want to build a facility, to pay the architect, etc. And that is something which has to solve very quickly. And I think it will be solved, but it took 1 year now to talk about that. Track and trace, well, the gentleman from the government just told. Yeah.
Is there any specifications of the product, or it's completely free?
You are free in which variety of cannabis you want to grow. Also, in if you just do 1 or 85, that you can make up yourself how much THC and CBD. The only thing is, like with the legalized medical and world, you have to put it down in your SOPs, etc. And they come and of course the government is coming to check it. So, but you're free in your choice. Yeah. Yeah, that has been, yeah. Yeah, you're free. Yeah. 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 Sorry, will they? Yeah. No, you're completely free to choose. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Sorry?
Vape sticks?
Yeah, we have that, but that's not part now of the not an issue in the experiment. Oh. Somebody else? Oh, let's look at the slide, but I think, yeah, that was it. Okay, I thank you for your patience.